Hi guys, Belle here, and I'm coming on to share with you a couple of tags that I've made. So I am taking part in Oak House Journals tag swap. This is the June one. There was also one in March. I will leave the link down below to both Carol at Oak House Journals video about the tag swap, as well as the videos of the tags I made for the March swap and the tags I received. So basically, this is what it says. It's a tag swap. Carol hosts it every few months, and you basically tell Carol if you want to have one partner or more. I chose two, and whether you would like them from the country you are in or whether you would like an international one. And I chose UK again because that's what I am, and you know, postage. Need I say more? So yes, I chose two partners. As I said, I took part in March's one. I made two different tags for March. This time I went with making the same style tag, but you know, there's very, very, very minute differences. But yeah, this is what I made. So this is some vintage music paper that's been made into a tag. I think I got this idea from Camilla Crafts Design. I will try and find that video and link it down below as well. A lot of videos to link. And yes, so it's vintage music paper. On the front here, I've used some scraps. I've used some of my tea bag fake leather embossing here. I've used some corrugated card, Tim Holtz butterfly that's up. So with each tag swap, Carol does say that there's some prompts if you want to use them to make your tag, and you don't have to. It's completely up to the person whether they do or don't. I didn't know if I was going to use the prompts, but I ended up kind of using them. So one of the prompts was pop. So I've popped a bit of colour and popped my butterflies up on 3D foam. I know that's a simple way to use the word pop, but that's what I did. The other prompt was to use black. Now, I mean, I love using black in my makes, but this one I just did it with using some ink. So there's some black ink. And then the last one was numbers, and you can see I've used numbers. So I've also used white gesso in the background here, then splattered it with some vintage photo distress oxide spray, scrapbook paper, different die cuts in paper. Then I've made this, this is from the Tim Holtz die cut, this little folder here, this little specimen folder, and then I've stamped on it in black StazOn, and it's got numbers on here and sort of what's meant to look like script. Then I've embossed it with a vintage photo glaze, I believe, and I've used it in some parts. I've used it only once, in some parts I've used it a couple of times, so you get this more mottled look. And then I've used these little mini metal brads, again Tim Holtz. Behind here is a vintage book page, herbal book page. You can actually see it says aromatic plants up there and that. I mean, you don't see a lot of it, but I used it. And that is gesso. Then we've got some, it's not vellum, but it's like that. It's like acetate and some real dried flowers. And then I've used up here, again, there's black and a number. So this is number one. This is a little piece from Tim Holtz. On the back is some tea dyed paper. There's a little die here for the pocket, some little pieces of Tim Holtz ephemera. You can see some of the spray is leaked over. There is stitching all around in brown thread. And then in the pocket, I have put one of my, I'm going to try and get that, one of my dried flower acetate pockets. I've also used some Tim Holtz rub-ons, which are also black, and there is a number. Beautiful dried flowers in there. I've put a tab on there with an eyelet. This is what the back looks like so. And then there's just a couple of dangles here again. This is a Tim Holtz piece of ephemera. This is just some stamping I did. They're on some card. There's a little eyelet. I've used a pink eyelet to pick up the pink in the flowers here, because we know how I like things to slightly coordinate, more than slightly. There's some beads on the bulb pin, and then this beautiful bead here, and that pops in there. And then also in there is this little notebook. It's just some tea dyed paper. There's a stamped image on the front. It can be written on that way or that way, but this is one of a piece of one of my jelly prints, and it has got some metallic paint, so I'm hoping that picks up, but there's just the slightest shimmer to it. So again, this is my pop of colour, and it pops into the pocket. I know, I mean, you know, I'm going to get creative sometimes. So that's the first one. The second one is basically identical, except the flowers are different. So here I've used pinks and a bit of blue, and here I've used yellows, purples and some blue. The butterfly's a bit different. This is number 2 because I did 2 tags, and that's just how my brain works. This has got a blue label behind, whereas this more of a reddy pink. Same jelly plate print, slightly different stamped image there. And then this is different. Where did I put it? It's still a dried flower acetate pocket, but you can see it's different to this one because, you know, I have to use what I've got, and the tabs are slightly different. And this one has a vintage Scottish stone on there. That's from an old necklace, a vintage necklace, just slightly different colouring. In this one, I have used a purple to pick up the purple, dark purples here. I didn't have one quite that big. And again, it's got the word and number on there. So I've used all the prompts, but I can't say I was doing it absolutely deliberately, but they kind of worked with what I was doing anyway. Does that make sense? I wish I could have been more creative for the pop rather than popping something in a pocket or popping something on 3D foam or a pop of colour, but that's how I interpreted it. And again, on the back here, we've got a little die cut with some pieces of Tim Holtz ephemera, guys. So that's what I've made. I really, really like them. They came out like I didn't know quite what I was doing when I went in. It came together as I was creating. I just knew how I wanted to do the front, and everything else kind of went from there. So again, please check out. There will be another tag swap later in the year. So check those out. Check that out if you are interested in taking part again. And I'm very excited to see. I probably have seen what I've received by the time you guys see this video, because I'm going to put this up after both the people I am swapping with have received their tags. But anyway, I'm very excited to see what I received this time in my swap. It was so much fun when I did it in March. So yeah, do go check out my previous video for that if you haven't seen that. All the links will be down below, and I will be back again soon with another video. Until next time, guys, wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having lots and lots of crafty fun. Bye.